guess in the last couple of years I've been just kind of embracing collecting more bikes, and the Save the Rust, it just kind of went hand in hand with it, because obviously you can see I look for items that people have either forgotten or they don't care about, or it's destined to scrap yards, and that's where the name kind of came, Save the Rust, because once it's gone, it's gone. Mostly it's pre-60 American and British, just kind of where I've kind of gravitated towards. My first bike was a Harley. Started off as a 1965 Harley Panhead, which I bought when I was around 20. And previous to that, I started building a shovel head chopper in my bedroom at 17 years old. So it's kind of always been there. It's a different feeling, a different connection with the bike when you get on it, and you have to, figure out what it takes to start the bike, as far as, setting the choke and how to kick it. I love kicking a bike over. It just gives you just more of a connection to the bike. The attraction with the old bikes is the ride. It's when you get on an old bike as opposed to a new bike, you just have this different connection with it. You have this different feeling going down the highway and down the roads. My main ride's a 1942 Harley. When you get on it and it's a foot clutch, hand shift, you have to kind of throttle down and let everything kind of just align before you shift it. And you get into that mode when you start knowing the bike. There's one where I pulled a James out of a two-story red barn, and it's had about an inch of dust on it. It's a 1951 James that burnt in a fire 25 years prior. And that was cool, just pulling it out of the hayloft, the whole bit, bringing it home, cleaning it up, and getting it running again. A month ago, I found the 36 Indian Chief in a guy's front yard as lawn art, and a week later, I pulled a 1966 Ducati out of a tree. And 6 months ago, I pulled a 1935 Francis Barnett off a pole. The 1940 Racer is probably my favorite right now. It's hard to say my favorite because they all mean a lot to me. They all have their own reason why I have them and keep them and want to restore them, or not restore them, just keep them as is. So it's really hard to say which one's my favorite. Probably my most favorite is the last one I rode. I still remember my dad put me on the back of his 1969 Honda 350 and jumping it through a ditch. He was a kind of a crazy guy. And the last time I actually rode on a bike with him was the day when we rode it and we were jumping through the ditch, and when we came down, we blew the back tire. And we just continued on, of course, So him and a cousin of mine, Brian, had an old shovelhead FLH that when he had done it in a red and white paint scheme, it was the nicest bike I've ever seen, and I still remember it to this day, even though he sold it almost 20 years ago. What I'm trying to do is literally just try and save a lot of local history. Winnipeg has an incredible amount of history in it that no one knows, and part of what I want to do is save that history, let people know about it, educate people, and we're just a caretaker for the next generation of this stuff, and someone's got to do it, and I figured I might as well.